welcome to the In a Nutshell podcast with myself, Andrew Miles Davis, and my co-host, Chris Branch, the daily 10-minute podcast where we take out all of the techie talk around generative AI and focus on what the everyday person, marketer, and content creator wants to hear. Now, we've only got 10 minutes, so we can only focus on one subject. And today we're going to talk about a topic that we've spoken about a couple of times in the past, but it keeps on coming up. And that is the use of AI in music. Now, the reason why we want to talk about it is because recently, as in yesterday, or a couple of days ago, Bad Bunny is not happy about an AI track using his voice. That's gone viral on TikTok. In fact, he is pissed. He is really not happy. So the song is called Nostalgia, and Nostalgia, the NIA is obviously kind of like a little backwards for AI. But the whole point of this song is that it uses AI to replicate his voice without his permission. Also, it uses Justin Bieber and also Daddy Yankee as well. Now, he heard about it. He probably was sent it. And people saying, oh, I like your new song. And then obviously he worked out that it wasn't him. And then he posted on his WhatsApp channel. So he's got a WhatsApp channel that probably got, probably hundreds of thousands of people who follow, even probably more, telling anyone who liked the song to leave the group chat. And in fact, he said he didn't even want you to come to his tour if you liked the song. That's how annoyed he was. So, but as we've said before, this is not the first time that this has happened. It's happened to Drake. It's happened to The Weeknd. I've heard it happen to Notorious B.I.G., to Tupac, to Oasis.
Kanye.
It's happened to Kanye. Yeah, it's happened. And even to the Beatles, which happened recently, but we'll get into that shortly.
Purposely in that case.
Yeah. And, it's essentially what's happening is the software works by analyzing a huge amount of music and vocals and data to an extent as well to create something new. And that's what essentially is what it's doing. But the problem is that there's no clear laws in place to work out who actually owns the copyright. And in music, whoever owns publishing is the person who gets paid, essentially. So before I kind of really go into more detail, what's your initial thoughts on this, Chris? Has it changed from what you was thinking before, regardless of who it is?
No, this is the natural progression of exactly where I thought it was going. Even we discussed this, right? Like we said, they'll probably go for the biggest selling people like Justin Bieber and people like this first, and then they'll try and, we've seen this ghostwriter who's been famous on TikTok, got banned, and he went with Drake and The Weeknd. And they were at two of the most popular people that you could possibly combine into a collaboration.
Yep.
And it's no surprise, like they're going to have to cling on to the most famous people in order to get the most attention to this type of thing. But it feels like, in a weird and twisted way, a natural progression of sampling, which has been going around for decades in music technology. So it's nothing new in the sense that people are taking parts of songs, remixing them into something new. But what is new is the ability for many, many people to be able to do this in the click of a button. So with the John Lennon and Beatles thing that we were going to mention, they quite literally had to strip away John Lennon from a piano that was played underneath in the recording. And with AI, they were able to separate the vocals perfectly and keep all of the, bits that would have been lost if you did this in previous ways. So this is incredibly powerful technology that when anyone can just one click and get Kanye's voice out of a song, then it's like, well, what do you do with it after that?
Yeah. I think that the music industry, like many things in the past, is worried, but also seeing potential as well. And this is why I would talk about copyright or like who owns the publishing, because whoever owns the publishing, they're going to make a lot of money, or publishing to whoever is going to make a lot of money in the future. The fact that anyone listening can essentially just take anyone's voice, even prompt a beat as well. There's a few tools out there at the moment where you can create your own unique beats, and then connect the two together, and then just put it out on YouTube or put it out on Spotify or put it out on anywhere. The fact that that technology is available to us now is as I said, for people in the music industry, is worrying stroke exciting.
Mm.
But
It's another thing that I see with decentralization is that musicians, because I'm a former music teacher myself, I know that they feel quite protective of their creativity and the fact that they have to learn theory and all of this other stuff in
yeah,
order to be able to get to the point where you can make a decent sample and make a decent this, whereas if you're just able to generate it without any background or knowledge in that, you're just essentially able to be what is the definition of a musician?
mm,
Is We're gonna have to answer these sort of questions soon, and
yeah,
it's going to change. Like generative musicians won't be seen as that, but similar to DJs not being seen as musicians, this progression ultimately, I
yeah.
think many people would say Calvin Harris is a musician. Like
It's true because things go in circles.
they do,
Things go
yeah,
in circles. As you said, some people would say the DJ is not a musician. I would look at the DJs, especially the ones who can take two turntables and make music off of
right.
like a snare and a I don't know, a little bass line here, and they can make
Hmm.
a song from it. To me, that's a musician. To some
Hmm.
people, it might not be. You know, the prompt musician that's going to be in the next
Yeah.
10 years, you're going to see a lot of that. Some people might say that's not a musician, but again, in 30 years' time, people might say they were musicians. So it's just a circle. It's just a circle of life when it comes to music. When it comes to what is a musician. But I
Mm.
would say though, especially with what Bad Bunny said, where do we draw the line?
Mm.
Because right now, a lot of it's to do with vocals.
Hmm.
But if I'm a producer and someone could take my beat, because I'm sure you will be able to take someone's beat and then go to whatever platform and say, make me a beat similar to this,
Hmm.
but don't break the copyright infringement. And that's
Hmm.
where it becomes very interesting, is when that is built into the tools to make sure it doesn't break copyright infringement. And then that's where things are going to get really, really gray. And again, the producers make a lot of money. Producers make a lot of money. They usually are the ones that's been sampled the way music works now. Now, obviously, it's the vocals. So, are they going to go down the same route as the producers? Is it going to be different laws for each? Who knows? Who knows?
Well, one thing I'm encouraged about is when I was producing music full time, quite a lot of producers around me that hadn't got major hits yet, they were making money out of sample packs, selling their own
Mm,
samples, just making high quality things and then getting Spotify revenue style subscription models to people that wanted to download their sample packs. So imagine the training data.
yeah,
Imagine an AI training data where you were opting in, getting paid small amounts for people to use this, and it was all things that you'd opted in for. Because the problem with Gen AI right now is it scrapes and it doesn't ask questions. It's
yeah,
not looking morally, should I do this, should I do that, is that copyright protected, is it not copyright protected? It's literally going, find me the most popular music in this category and train on it.
yeah,
And no one's opting into that process, and when they find out, like Bad Bunny, that they no doubt have been selected in that process, you have to opt out, and people don't like opting out, they want to opt in.
mm,
So I think that's a general change that we might see as incentive based music models where people were like, I always call them bedroom producers, or someone that's like a household DJ. They're not really someone that's making money full time yet out of their music. They could make a living through this.
yeah.
So like it's different. It's going to affect the big ones differently to it is the people that don't currently have that opportunity to make money through music.
Exactly. And where I feel, in fact, there's a few other things that I want to say, but let's leave that to another episode because we're coming to an end of this one. But there's a few other things that we're going to talk about when it comes to this, because this is going to be a never-ending subject.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've already spoke about this 3 or 4 times already, and it's one of our most popular ones as well. A lot of people kind of giving their opinion as well. So we'll be speaking about topics like this a lot more. But in a nutshell, music is changing. The way we consume music is changing, and definitely in this case, the way people are making music is changing.
Mm-hmm.
So, where is the line? then that is going to be something that's going to take a long time to work out. Where do we draw the line?